Hello everybody, welcome back to C&S Corvettes in Sarasota, Florida. I'm Lyle and this is my weekly podcast. As we roll into spring and people are starting to bring their cars out of mothballs up north, and people down south are looking forward to traveling up north now that it's not the great white north anymore, we are talking about some things that you can do, a kit you can assemble to take with you if you're going to take your Corvette on a road trip. Now, a lot of these things are going to be common sense that you probably already have anyway. But I guarantee you one of these things, whatever it may be, is going to be like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. So today's topic, what is the roadside kit, your travel kit, that you need to have back in the trunk of your Corvette when you go on your trip? First item, have a AAA card. If you're going to do an 800, 1,200, 3,500 mile trip, join AAA and have that card with you. There is no single thing that is more useful when you're on the road and something bad happens than having that card. Because if you break down, if all four wheels fall off the car, if a pterodactyl hits your windshield, you can pull over, call AAA, and someone's going to come out and help you. So don't even think of taking a road trip without having that in your pocket. That said, let's talk about some things that you can put in your car that will help you either while you're waiting for AAA, or maybe that you will be able to mitigate whatever has occurred so you can get back on the road without having to wait for AAA. First of all, carry a can of Fix-A-Flat and a small air pump that'll plug into your 12-volt outlet in your car. Now, GM included those with all C5 Corvettes starting in 2001 because those cars did not have run-flat tires. So they automatically from the factory in the right rear compartment came with a Fix-A-Flat can and an air pump. Really good to have, especially if you don't have run flats, which if you're smart and you enjoy driving, you probably don't. Go ahead and have a can of Fix-A-Flat and an air pump. At the very least, it'll get you out of that position when you're in the middle of nowhere and get you to a tire store or a city where you can take care of the problem writ large. In that idea, make sure you have a set of actual mechanics gloves or work gloves. The mittens that Grandma knitted for you last Christmas do not count. You need something that is going to resist wires poking through it, getting cut, and especially if you're going to be having to touch something on your car after you've been driving for 2 hours, something that resists heat. Any Home Depot, any auto parts store is going to have gloves that can do that for you. Make sure you have at least one set in the back of your car. Along with that, you're also going to want some wet wipes so you can clean up your hands when you're done, and some Gojo hand cleaner, paper towels, just that stuff in back in case you need to get your hands dirty. I also highly recommend you bring a towel and or a blanket. Not only for you're broken down and the car quit running and it's 40 degrees in the Badlands in South Dakota and you're freezing to use as a blanket, but also if you need to go outside around your car and kneel down anywhere to get a look at a tire, to get a look at a tire valve, to see, oh, you ran over some debris and it's stuck up in your grill, whatever. It's nice to kneel down on something that isn't broken glass, gravel, or rough tarmac. So just good to have that around no matter what. Just keep it in the back. You'll use it for something. Make sure to have a flashlight with you. I know this seems like something that is like, well, duh, Lyle, of course I have a flashlight. A lot of people don't kit out their Corvette with this kind of thing because their Corvette tends to be their weekend, go to the beach, go to the lake, go on a drive through the country, and come home car. It's not the extended point A to point B across the nation car. So oftentimes people don't have this kind of basic stuff in their Corvette. They may in their truck, they may in their Buick, they don't put it in their Corvette. So put it in your Corvette. Along with that flashlight, make sure to get what they call a safety triangle. You know, the reflective ones, or now they have the LED ones that actually flash. They break down into a flat stick so they don't take up a lot of room. If you end up on a poorly lit road with a tire that's bad, or you're through a belt or whatever, and it's nighttime, having that safety triangle is going to save you a lot of potential trouble, because you can have your hazard flashers on, but people aren't going to see those until they're right up on you. That said, if you have a safety triangle, make sure to set it back from the car 50 to 100 feet so that it gives a buffer zone between when people who are coming at you see it and where your car is actually located. If you just put it right at the back of your bumper, it's not helping you. So walk it back a good 50, 100 feet, set it up there, and stay in the car and be safe. A couple other things I'd recommend you have with you. Bring a couple extra quarts of oil. If your low oil light comes on when you're driving through I-10 in the middle of nowhere in the panhandle of Florida, sure would be nice to pull into a rest stop and just put a quart in until you can get somewhere that's going to have more amenities and more retail outlets to get the things that you need, or a mechanic to see why you're low on oil. I would also recommend you carry a spare serpentine belt. Now, I know, you're not going to be changing a serpentine belt on the side of the road, okay? Unless you really have a big toolkit, a proper toolkit in the back of the car, you're not going to be able to do that. However, if you happen to be in Ottumwa, Iowa, and throw a belt, and it's Sunday, and AAA comes and gets you, they may not be able to find a belt for your Corvette in that town on that day. It may be, well, we'll have a delivery coming in Tuesday, but that's going to force you to lose days off your trip, extra expense, all that. I recommend you carry a spare serpentine belt so that almost anybody with basic mechanical knowledge can replace a serpentine belt, especially in a professional setting. Sure would be nice to be able to go, here you go, and hand them a serpentine belt that you know is correct for your car, and then bada bing, you're done, you're gone, you're back on your trip. Last thing, have a basic toolkit. Basic meaning pliers, a screwdriver or two, a utility knife. Now, no one's going to be fixing their car on the side of the road with this toolkit. What it's for is, you run over a remnant of a tire and it gets wound up in your rim. Or I had somebody come in last week, they had hit what we call a road gator, the tire remnant, and it had stuffed itself into the brake duct at the front of their C5 Z06. And they had cut their hands trying to pull it out. That's where the gloves, the pliers, the screwdriver to pry, it's to get that stuff out without making you bleed. You don't need diagnostic tools, you don't need sockets, you don't need any of that. Just make sure you have something other than your naked hands to pull or pry debris out that gets stuck under your car, because that's the most common problem with these low cars. You're not going to get under them there. Beyond that, in the C5 and the C6, you have wells under the rear floorboards that all of this stuff will fit in quite neatly. Just make sure you have it all together in a little duffel or something so you know where it is all the time. And if you use it, make sure to immediately put it back so that the next time you need it, it's there. So, just to review, this is a handful of things I recommend having in your possession if you're going to go on an extended road trip in your Corvette, or any car for that matter, but specifically a Corvette, these are things I would recommend you have. On that note, I hope you have a wonderful spring and summer. I hope you do take a bunch of cool trips in your Corvette. And as you have questions, or you have parts needs, or you need somebody to do work on your car that you trust, feel free to email me at lyle@corvettepartscenter.com. I will help you however I can. And happy motoring, guys. And by the way, happy Easter.